Kai Havertz wins it in the dying stages to strengthen Chelsea's grip on third place. Watch until the end of this review to hear all of my thoughts on today's match. Hello people, welcome to my channel, welcome to another video. This is my review of the match that took place earlier on today at Stamford Bridge in the Premier League between Chelsea and Newcastle United, which Chelsea ended up winning by 1-0. So what I'm going to do for you guys in terms of this review is that firstly, I'll run you through the lineup that Thomas Tuchel fielded at the start of today's match against Newcastle United. I will then be giving you guys my thoughts on the match itself, and yes, I'll be breaking it down into the first half and the second half, and in addition to that, I'll be giving you guys the positives and the negatives that I took from the match. And lastly, I'll be giving you guys my thoughts on Chelsea's upcoming UEFA Champions League round of 16 second leg that will be taking place next Wednesday at the Stade Pierre-Mauroy against LOSC Lille or just Lille, with kickoff at 8 PM UK time. So without further ado, let's get straight into this review. So we shall begin by taking a look at the lineup that Thomas Tuchel fielded at the start of the match. And as always, we're going to start off by talking about the formation in which Thomas Tuchel chose. And I'm not going to lie to you guys, I was surprised to see that it was a 4-3-3 and not a 3-4-3, because as I've said many times in my videos during Thomas Tuchel's tenure, I expect him to go over 3-4-3 because that is the formation that he uses or has used a lot with us, or the most with us. But yes, it was a 4-3-3. And in terms of the personnel that Thomas Tuchel went with, it was Edouard Mendy in goal. Trevor Chalobah was playing at right back. The centre-back pairing was Andreas Christensen and Antonio Rudiger, with Malang Sarr playing as our left back. So that is the back four. In terms of the midfield three, it was Jorginho at the base of it, with N'Golo Kante and Mason Mount just ahead of Jorginho, and the front three was made up of Hakim Ziyech in the right wing position, Kai Havertz up front, and Timo Werner in the left wing position. So that is the lineup that Thomas Tuchel fielded at the start of today's match against Newcastle United. Now I am going to give you guys my thoughts on the match itself, and yes, I am going to begin by running you through my thoughts on the first half. And I have to say that I actually thought that we made a good start to the match. We put Newcastle United under lots of pressure, although we weren't able to generate too many chances. Having said that, though, we did win quite a few set pieces in the early stages of the match, namely corners, and we did threaten to score inside the early stages of the match, but nothing came of the corners that we won. In fact, there was one corner that we won where the ball went into the box. I think it was Hakim Ziyech who took the corner. Don't quote me on this one, but I think it was him who took the corner, and it ended up going to Mason Mount, who tried to take the shot on, but he could only hit the ball over the bar. And to be honest, it wasn't a great cross, and I understand why he didn't get the ball on target. But yes, that was one of the shots we had in the early stages. Another one came from Andreas Christensen, and it was a shot from distance. It was actually a decent shot. It didn't go too far over the bar, but it's just a shame that it wasn't on target. But yes, we had a good start. We made a good start to the match. But after we made our good start, and after a certain period of time in the first half, I have to say that Newcastle United grew into it, put us under a bit of pressure, forced us into making some really costly mistakes. Let me take that back. They did force us into making mistakes, and thankfully they weren't costly, because on another day, some of the mistakes that we made or were forced into making could have cost us. But yes, Newcastle United did grow into the game, and I have to say, defensively, they were really good. They frustrated us. They made it really hard for us to get through. We really didn't generate too many clear-cut chances, if any at all, in that first half. And that's me being completely honest. We ended the first half without a single shot on target, and um, at that at that point, I just knew that um, it needed to get better. Well, I saw that it needed to get better because some of the play was a bit too slow. We did take a bit too long on the ball. Um, we were giving it away quite cheaply at times as well, and some of the times in which we were giving it away were unforced errors, and it was just frustrating. But overall, I have to say that it did deserve to go into the it did deserve to be 0-0 at half time because neither side really generated any clear cut chances. Yes, Newcastle United did have that shot on target through Miguel Almiron, but it was well hit. I'll be completely honest, it was well hit, but that 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 was a comfortable save by Edouard Mendy, and that is a save that he should be making because it was practically straight at him. But yes, not too many clear cut chances for either side in that first half. And we move into my thoughts on the second half. And I have to say that again, we made a great start to the second half. We were moving the ball about really well. We were getting into good positions. We saw some of our players be able to carry the ball. Let me rephrase that. We saw that some of our players were able to carry the ball on a more regular basis in the second half, and as the second half went on, which I'll get into in a bit. But yes, it did open up as the second half went on, and I thought that we were doing really well to stop Newcastle United from getting into our defensive third, and I have to say that we did actually look pretty good defensively um, throughout the game, despite us making a few mistakes. And there's one thing that I forgot to mention there's one thing that I forgot to mention that happened in the first half, and that's the incident between Kai Havertz and Dan Burn. I watched it at my friend's house on Sky Sports, and they were a few of the pundits and commentators were saying that it should have been a red card. For me, that is never a red card. Um, when you're jumping, you need your arms in the air. Kai Havertz's elbow, yes, it hits Dan Burn in the face, but it was completely unintentional. You can see that Kai Havertz was trying to go for the ball. And what's funny is that these commentators and pundits would be criticising Kai Havertz if he didn't make a single attempt to get the ball. Um, or in other words, they'd be criticising him if he didn't try to challenge for the ball at all. Um, so it's a bit of a double standard there, but honestly, that's never a red card. Dan Burn, yes, he went down and definitely rightly so, but the way he reacted when Kai Havertz walked past him, for me, is not right. I don't think it was a booking at all, because you can see that he was trying to get the ball. No, he didn't get the ball, but he wasn't even that far off it, if I'm being completely honest. But no, definitely not a sending off. The incident in the second half now, for me, Trevor Chalobah's a lucky boy because that was a penalty. It should have been a penalty. I don't know why um, the officials in the VAR room in Stockley Park did not decide to. Sorry, I don't know why they didn't decide to look at it, because for me that was a clear and obvious error by the referee. But honestly, um, that should have been a penalty. And again, Trevor Chalobah got away with one. But we move into the latter stages of the second half, and I have to say that it was a matter of time because we did have a glorious chance before we got the goal, which I'll of course get into. But yes, the ball went into the box via Hakim Ziyech, and Kai Havertz did get his head on the ball, and he did just head it straight at the goalkeeper when he really should have scored. But one thing I'll also mention before I forget to mention it is that the substitutions that Thomas Tuchel made, especially the introduction of Mateo Kovacic really did change the game. I thought that the introduction of Mateo Kovacic and Romelu Lukaku helped us get a bit more energy in the middle of the park, because that is something that we did lack um, in parts of our game, and thankfully we were able to um, be a bit more um, daring in the middle of the park, if that's the word for me to use. But yes, we saw a lot more. Um, we saw more. Give me a few seconds. We saw our midfielders carry the ball into the final third more, which is what I was talking about earlier. We saw N'Golo Kante do it. We saw Mateo Kovacic do it when he came on, and goodness me, he could have gotten an assist when he did it, because he carried the ball for a long um, amount of time when he did it, and it's just a shame that it didn't come to anything. But yes, the substitutions really did help us. And in terms of the goal, goodness me, what a goal this was. And what a fantastic pass this was by Jorginho, who, by the way, I didn't think had his best game, because he did give the ball away quite cheaply at times. Um, but yes, great pass from him. And my word, what a brilliant ball, what a brilliant piece of skill by Kai Havertz to just bring the ball down like that and just fire it home in a matter of seconds. It is really difficult to do that, but he made it look easy, and I think he deserved that, because he was our best player in my opinion. He was definitely our most threatening player, and he definitely looked the most likely to score out of our attacking players. But yes, it was a fantastic goal, and it won us the game. Overall, though, I have to say, um, fair play to Newcastle United. Um, you can definitely argue that they should have gotten something out of the game, and you can definitely argue that they should have had a penalty. You couldn't deny that they should have had a penalty, because it was as clear as day. Trevor Chalobah needs to cut these mistakes out, and I'm sure he will. He's a young lad, and he's still got a lot of time on his hands. But yes, they should have gotten something out of the game. You can definitely argue that. As for us, um, or as for my opinion, I actually thought that we deserved to win, because in the second half we did create the clearer chances, and despite me saying that, there still weren't too many clear-cut chances. Um, what I'll also add is that the substitutions really did help us as well, and the timing of the goal also helped us, because had that chance in which Kai Havertz scored, or scored from, not been scored, that game definitely would have ended in a draw. But honestly, it was a deserved win on the basis that we took our chance and they didn't. But yes, in terms of the positives and the negatives, before I go off on a tangent, two positives, one negative. The first positive that I took from the match is that we got the job done. The almost went into the second positive, my bad. But honestly, it was a really tough game. It was very difficult to watch. Um, so many stoppages. It really did lack flow, and I actually watched Manchester United v Tottenham Hotspur yesterday evening, and goodness me, um, this game really did. This game really was almost as difficult to watch as the Manchester United v Tottenham Hotspur game, because I watched that game and it was extremely hard to watch. The amount of times both sides gave the ball away is just, it was laughable. But honestly, we got the job done. We were not at our best by any stretch of the imagination, and we definitely can do better, especially from an offensive point of view, which I'll get into in a bit. But yes, we got the job done, and that's what you ask of the players, especially in these terrible circumstances in regards to matters off the pitch. But yes, that's the first positive that I took from the match. The second and final positive that I took from the match is that Kai Havertz was our best player. He was working his socks. He was working his socks off. Yes, he had a tough time. Yes, he didn't get too many opportunities, but he got the winning goal for us and scored the winning goal in such spectacular fashion. Yes, he had that incident where many would argue that he should have been sent off, which, as you know, I completely disagree with. But for me, um, he stuck at it, he was persistent, and he got the winning goal. And again, in spectacular fashion. Those are the two positives. Sadly, there has to be a negative. And the only negative that I took from this match is that we did make some mistakes that should have gone in favour of Newcastle United, i.e., the penalty decision that was not given and should have been given. And we were not too great offensively. Honestly, people, we really weren't. And that is something that will need some work in our upcoming games or before our upcoming games. But I'm going to leave it as that. But just before I move on to my thoughts on our upcoming fixture, I'm just going to say this. Goodness me, the standard of officiating in this league is atrocious. It really is atrocious. Both sides in this game, both sides had some really terrible decisions go against them, and it just makes me wonder how these people are actually able to get into officiating, because goodness me, some of the decisions that were being made in this game were ridiculous. But I'm going to leave it as that. Do let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll do my very best to respond. Let's move on. Now, to end this review, I'm going to give you guys my thoughts on Chelsea's upcoming UEFA Champions League round of 16 second leg. That will be taking place next Wednesday at the Stade Pierre-Mauroy Stadium against Lille, with kickoff at 8 p.m. UK time. I think this is a good opportunity for us to rest a few players, but still field a team that is strong enough to get the job done, because we do have some big games coming up. And yes, next Wednesday's game against Lille is one of them, but we also have to consider the fact that we do have to go to Middlesbrough on Saturday, or next Saturday, I shall say. And of course, Middlesbrough is very far from London. For those of you who do not know where Middlesbrough is, it's in North Yorkshire, and you can just picture how far the players will have to travel. But yes, hopefully we are able to get the job done. We don't necessarily need to score, but we just cannot concede, and that should be the mindset for the players. But I'm just going to leave that there. That's all. I'll see you very soon. Peace.